Good morning, everyone, and I hope you're doing well. It's quite fun envisaging you in your situations, and it's always lovely to see those friendly faces on Sunday morning from the different parts of the world. Here we are enjoying the best spring in living memory. So we have even been having breakfast outside, which I can assure you is quite rare in Scotland. But in the meantime, we're continuing to think about the story of Ruth and her mother-in-law, Naomi. She is finding her feet in a new land, amongst a new people and in new circumstances. She's left her past behind and headed out for a promising but uncertain future. All of us are people with a past, and it's a mixture. Some things that are broken, some things that we regret, some things that, if we dwell on them too much, depress us. And so we don't need to go there. We can allow these things to resolve themselves in due course, because with our Lord, we are people of the present and of the future. That's where God is waiting for us. That's where all the potential lies. And the way of faith and the way of promise is there for us all. This was something that Ruth was discovering. She went home after her first day in the field with a sackload of barley and more, some sandwiches left over from lunch in her pocket, and she shared it all with Naomi, her mother-in-law. And of course, Naomi, being inquisitive, said, "And whose field did you find this morning?" And she said, "Boaz's." Naomi said, "Blessed be he by the Lord, whose kindness has not forsaken the living or the dead." It's interesting. Naomi is beginning to see hope. And she has a sense that God is looking after her, but also God is honouring the family name. And that is very important. Now, Ruth was able to work in Boaz's field for 2 months, during the wheat and during the barley harvest. And it was a time when she was able to make friends and get to know some of the local girls. She was the recipient of Boaz's hospitality and kindness, but also she was a tremendous example of industry herself. I have been helping my brother a little bit in his business in as much as I'm able to do that, and it's not much. And he has a variety of different staff, quite a few people who've come from Poland. And he likes the Polish staff that he has. And he finds, hopefully, he is good to them, but also they're hardworking and they make the most of things. Not to say that British people aren't the same too, but it's great to see people coming into a new circumstance and working hard and helping things to work out. So here are these ladies, and they have not been forgotten or forsaken by the Lord or by Boaz. He has an unusual role, one I think that's far more familiar to Africans than it is to us Europeans. He is a kinsman, but he's also called a kinsman redeemer. That means he has family responsibilities. According to Israelite law, if somebody sold themselves into slavery because of debt, then the kinsman redeemer, if he was able to, would bail them out. If somebody lost the family property, again because of hard times, the kinsman redeemer would be there to reclaim the property. If there was an issue that required justice and law, then again the kinsman redeemer would be the one who would step in on behalf of his relations who had come to grief and trouble in some fashion. So he had this role, and Ruth and Naomi knew about it. As yet he hadn't fulfilled all his potential. But this 2 months was a time when they were getting to know him and he was getting to know them, a necessary time. But nevertheless, there was still things that needed to be done in the future. So far, so good. And that happens to us as well. We get so far, but then we need to take an extra step. And we'll see next week how Ruth is required to use some feminine intuition to get the ball rolling and bring things onto their next stage, to bring blessing to them and to give all that God has in mind for them. Bye for now.